Anchorage and Southeast has the highest rates of rearrests and reconvictions. The Mat-Su generally has the lowest. Nonviolent offenders, such as misdemeanors, low-level drug and property offenders, and probation violations are filling up Alaska's expensive hard prison beds. Policymakers are determining if there are more cost-effective ways to address the criminality of these offenders while ensuring public safety. There are four main factors driving Alaska's prison population growth, none of which seem to be related to actual changes in the crime rate. The number one reason for felony admission to prison is for a Class C felony offense, including theft and drug offenses. These nonviolent offenders stayed on an average of 100 days more in 2014 than they did in 2010. In 2013, almost 40% of all ADOC admissions were for possession of a controlled substance, and the offender was between the ages of 18 and 29 years of age.
The Judiciary Committee is taking a step back, trying to look at what are the drivers in this increasing percentage of prison population. We've gone from 42% for nonviolent offenders up now to 63% of nonviolent offenders that are being incarcerated for periods of over 5 years and beyond.
Violating probation constitutes the second highest reason for felony admission. In 2013, half of the 8,000 Alaskans on probation found themselves facing more jail time. Over 70% landed there on a technical violation. The other 30% alleged new crimes.
Recidivism, if you think of it as a revolving door, is that prisoner that comes in the first time and comes back in again within another year to 5 years. In Alaska, the recidivism rate is actually right around 63% as well. So the same people are reoffending.
Misconduct involving controlled substance offenses are having a significant impact on the ADOC's hardbed prison population. Each inmate is staying an average of 214 days. Over 30% of that time is for an unsentenced offender. The number of pretrial or unsentenced offenders has dramatically increased, taking up around 40% of the Alaska Department of Corrections' total population.
The population has grown for those that are in a pretrial status. Should they really be there? Many of them have actually died during their time of incarceration. They're in a pretrial status, so technically they're innocent until proven guilty, which is a death penalty. We don't even have the death penalty here in the state of Alaska for those who have been convicted of serious crimes, more or less those who have just been arrested and are in a pretrial status.
ICER issued a report that explained to lawmakers that if they held down the number of inmates while at the same time kept the public safe, changes in how funds were appropriated could make a meaningful difference. For the fraction of the cost of building a new prison, investing in education and substance abuse programs in prison, after prison, and instead of prison would save the state a significant amount, 2 to 5 times of what they cost. ICER's findings, which have been demonstrated to be correct in real-world data, is that spending more for these programs, even as oil prices and state revenues are falling, may not seem like a good idea. But Alaska needs to look to the future, and over time, the benefits of strategically expanding those programs that would reduce crime and keep more Alaskans out of prison far outweigh the costs.
95% of the more than 250,000 Alaskans that have been incarcerated will return to our communities, have returned and are continuing to return to our communities.
ICER found that incarcerating too many nonviolent offenders in hard prison beds, not providing inmate rehabilitative programming, and failure to use risk assessment tools to tailor rehabilitative programming to actual need is an absolute guarantee of continuing high recidivism rates and prison population growth.
Those are our neighbors. And the question is, are they returning better or worse for the wear? And that's what we're trying to work on.
Interestingly, Alaska Judicial Council study found that the more serious the underlying offense, the lower the recidivism rate. Misdemeanors had a significantly higher recidivism rate than did felons, and Class C felons had higher rates than Class B or Class A. After 2 years, nearly half of the misdemeanant and 40% of the felons had been rearrested. Reporting in Juneau, I'm Dorene Lorenz.